Francesco Garripoli, and I welcome you to this installment of Wuji Mountain Musings. This is excerpts from my new book, The Qi Effect, and it explores different aspects of life force energy, different aspects of Qi, as we call it. And of course, there's many names for Qi: prana, mana, pneuma. Over the millennia, many people have understood there's a life force energy, and I've always been curious. That's why I practice and teach Qigong. So the musings are short, little poetic explorations into an idea. And I'm going to read one from the ebook version here, and we'll discuss it. This one is number 85. Your self-observation through the heart resonance lens will always lead you to see yourself in a whole new way as a conduit. And with that comes the freedom and healing you've been seeking. The power of our intention is amazing, and learning to activate Qi in this way truly cuts through a lot of technical and intellectual conditioning. These barriers that we seem to create for ourselves when we impose unnecessary, finite limits on Qi. A lot there. But the idea of understanding our nature, the concept of understanding Qi itself, life force energy itself, is a fascinating exploration. I've spent my whole life exploring Qi, studying with masters since I was a teenager, elder masters who really pushed me to question what I believe about myself, what I think about myself. What does this concept of life force energy mean, and how do I sabotage myself? How do I self-sabotage by putting life force energy into a category of limitations the way I see the rest of my life or my body? The fact is, Qi is not like anything else. In that way, and you'll read in the book, I have some very profound and clear ideas about this from 40 plus years of study. The Qi may not even be in this dimension. Okay, it doesn't relate to what we know as electromagnetic energies. It does not relate to the physical world, yet it interfaces with electromagnetic energies and the physical world. When we understand who we are and how we are in relationship to Qi, everything changes. And this is a beautiful thing. This is part of why we do our practice, whatever it happens to be, how we explore and look at these concepts. So when I look at here, let's see this idea of self-observation through heart resonance. Okay, that's a very important statement on here. And it's something that I talk about a lot when I teach workshops, and people kind of question about what I'm talking about when I talk about heart resonance. Now, in Qigong, we learn about Shen Qi. We learn about heart Qi. In the organ cleansing, we talk about the heart energy signature into the Wei Qi field. All these do touch on the idea of heart resonance. Self-observation is that idea of really looking at yourself objectively. That's a very difficult thing to do, right? Our conditioning tells us that a lot of things about who we are, whether we're self-deprecating or we have a big ego, or somewhere in between that range of self-identity. Self-observation through the heart resonance lens means you slow down and you check in to see, am I looking at myself, self-observation, through an intellectual mindset? Am I identifying myself based on my money, my job, my education, my cultural status? As my Indian friends just celebrated India Independence Day, they talk about releasing and transcending even caste systems. These are deep cultural indoctrinations. Then we could look at our survival mind identities, right? When we look at the three minds, the survival mind is a very powerful one, and it can very deeply skew our self-observation, because now we're going to talk about identifying yourself as survival languaging, our health, our size, our age, all these kinds of things that define self through that lens. So that's a survival lens. And there's that intellectual lens we talk about, that judgment lens. Then there is the intuitive mind lens. This is the heart resonance lens. When we can continue to look at self and the world around us, hopefully, but we have to start here at home. Remember what they say about going on a plane. If the oxygen mask comes on, you pull it on yourself first before you try to help anybody else. Think about it. If you try to help a child next to you and then you lose oxygen, you've now hurt yourself and the child. So stay strong in your interface. Self-observe through the heart resonance lens, through that intuitive mind perspective. And then you start to see yourself as an energy body. If nothing else, you see yourself more in language of love, a language of spirit, a language of an identity that is not just your physical or mental, intellectual perspective. So now with this heart resonant lens, actually it's the only lens that can bring us into presence. Survival mind and intellectual mind are very busy in past and future issues. Intuitive mind folds the past and future into a presence, and that's our gift. So when we come into presence in heart resonance, we can see ourself truly in the power of this moment, of this now. Now isn't a stopping of everything. A lot of people think, oh, the power of now, I'm going to stop everything and be right here, right now. No. True presence is everything from the past and everything from the apparent future folded into a unified single field, a singularity of sorts of presence. Only the heart can do this. Only heart resonance can sustain it, and only the intuitive mind can capture it in a way that you can observe it. This is why it's so critical to understand and do the interoception, do the inner listening to your body so you can start to understand and navigate, where does heart resonance reside? How does that feel? How can I come into touch, into a deep touch with that heart resonant feeling in everything I do? But most importantly, through self-observation. That's the collecting of the oxygen mask. That's that deep breath that says, I have secured myself in my core through centering and grounding, and now I can engage with the world. We know what it looks like otherwise. We know when we go into that roller coaster of life outside of our presence, and we're in a reaction mode, and our survival mind is busy dealing with the most basic issues of life, or our intellectual mind goes in and sabotages us through its judgment and measurements and comparing. Only our intuitive mind in heart resonance can see the world through that vibration of love, through that vibration of, I am more than my physical. I am more than my intellect. I am truly an energetic being wearing this human bodysuit. And that's okay. That's what this journey is about. We don't know what other journeys are about. I can surmise. I have a lot of intuitive insights about lives that are much different than this one. But I know that in this period of time, in this body, 80, 90 years if you're lucky, a little more for some of the masters I studied with, and a lot less for some people who've left this body. But during this time in this body, we have an opportunity. And when that understanding of self, that self-observation, can come through a deepening of the activation of the life force energy. Activating Qi is really the gift practice of Qigong. Okay? Qi is activated naturally in our body. Every minute of every day, everything that we do, it's activated. But it's activated typically at a very survival-oriented level. This is why we just survive instead of thriving. To truly thrive is to understand how to activate qi. This is what I teach in my workshops, and I put front and center to get people to understand the difference. The difference of being a conduit instead of a container. The difference of moving around qi or collecting qi versus truly activating qi and being a channel for life force energy. This is the gift. This is what changes everything. This is what keeps you vibrant. This is what allows you to self-observe through that subtle energy connection you have with your heart resonance, through Shen Qi, this spirit connection. Reminds you who you are. And it's not so out there. This is practical stuff. This is work, play. This is everything that you do. This is navigational skills on an energetic level that helps you in the most practical ways. I mean, for me, if you can't apply this to interpersonal relationships, through business challenges, if you can't apply it to your health, if you can't apply it to the games you play and the sports you play, to everything that you do, then it's not worth it. But it is worth it. Everything's worth it, because this life, this dreaming we are living in this body during this very precious period of time in our infinite consciousness is a period to experience something very unique. There's a good chance we may never come back in consciousness in a body quite like this, or in a dimension quite like this. I've seen this many times. So this is a unique one. And it's not everything. It's a very small sliver in your soul thread dance of who you are. Sadly, most people never get that in this life. Many people forget it when they're a child. Many kids I meet, that's why I love being around young children, because they're still in that state of understanding that they're spirit and they're free and there's infinite potential. And then somehow conditioning helps us forget. And then only in our later years, we maybe, if we're lucky, can start to move toward freedom again. And most likely when we leave this body, we'll get the awareness all over again. Not as a human mind experience, but as an infinite mind experience. But we don't have to wait till we pass out of this body. Understanding and activating qi through heart resonance, through self-observation, through that spirit sense of self, of the intuitive mind, is your pathway to transcending and transforming this life into what it was kind of not meant to be, but at least has the potential of being. So have the courage. Remember, courage comes from cur, the Latin word for heart. So have the heart-centered courage to be in your heart resonance. And when we do that together, that is community at the highest level. So thank you for being part of that community. And peace.